Okay, in this segment, I'm going to show you how to mix up hot mud or quick set or easy sand or whatever the people call it and where you guys are from, right? Just depending on what area you're from, if you're in the southern states, if you're in the western states, eastern states. I'm not sure what they call it where you're from, but it's easy sand, quick set, hot mud, right? I'm using 5 minute because I want to get some coats on today so you guys can see as I'm filling up these gaps. But so what you're gonna do, you take your 6-inch or 5-inch knife, 4-inch knife, whatever you want to use. And you're gonna get a good helping of it, right? You know, get about 2 of them. Say hello to my little friend, right? Tony Montana, he'd be proud of it, right? See all that? All right, you're gonna get a bunch of it. Then you're gonna get some water and we're gonna add it. Before I add the water, I wanna give you a tip, okay? If you want to have this set up faster, so let's say you bought 20 minute, 45 minute, 90 minute, and you want it to set up faster. 2 tricks that you can use. One, you can use dirty water, and the other one is you can use hot to warm water, okay? So when I say dirty water, when we wash up our tools, we use the same water bucket that I said that you're gonna need when you're mixing up your mud. We use that same water bucket to wash off our knives, okay? So over time, that water just gets dirty because we use it to wash it. It's not dirty for any other reason other than you washing your tools in it, okay? Nobody's doing nothing in that bucket other than you just washing your tools. So because that water is dirty and it has other sediment from the compound when you mix your drill and you clean off your drill, and so that's the dirty water, right? It's been there for a while, like a day or two or whatever, or other things have been clean. You can add that dirty water to this mixture, and whatever reason, because it's dirty water, when you mix it up, it's gonna let it set a little bit faster than whatever that number is on that bag. The second thing is if you use warm to hot water, that activates it a little quicker also, so you have less play time than what the bag says. So again, just depending on what you need to do. Another way that you can set it off quicker is by using a hair dryer. I show that in the tool portion that I carry around in my box. If I have a patch, I'm gonna hit it with 5 minute, and then I'll use the hair dryer just to make that sucker get dried in like 2.5 minutes, right? Because time is money, and when you're doing patches, you wanna get in and out and move on to the next one or whatever it is. So anyways, those are 3 ways to help set up hot mud or quick set easy sand quicker, is by using warm to hot water, using dirty bucket water, or using a heat gun of some sort. You can use a blow dryer or whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna add the water. You don't need too much depending on what you're trying to fill, how big the gap is. And the consistency is, in the last video you saw, I pulled out the mud out of the bucket, the little all-purpose bucket, and it was straight out of there with no water added to it. And if you can remember, it stuck to my knife like a blizzard would, a Dairy Queen, and it wasn't going anywhere. So that's the consistency you want, right? You want thick, not a lot of movement, not a lot of looseness. And you're just gonna get in there and you're gonna mix it up, right? Just getting in there, you're turning the powder into a liquid state. Now remember, you can always add water, but you can't take water out. So what you want to do is just add a little at a time, because you'd rather add more water over time than keep having to add more mud. Because if you get a pan that's full and you don't have all that mud, you're just gonna throw all that mud out, right? So that's a good little tip. You can always add water. You can always add mud, but it's easier to add water if you add it a little at a time to get it to the consistency that you want. I got dirty, it's time to go home. So that the old man that I work with says, I got dirty, it's time to go home. Okay, so I'm okay with that. It could be a little thicker. So you go in the bag, you just get a little linea here, you just get a little line of it, right? You throw it in there. Okay. It's on there, right? So now I have the same consistency as I had that all-purpose mud. So now I'm gonna bring you guys over here. We're back at our wall. Okay, you see that big old gap up there? Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack this a little bit different because there's a lot. So instead of doing the three-wheel motion, like I said, I have quite a bit on here, right? There's quite a bit on here. Okay, and I'm literally gonna force it in there. I'm gonna force this in there so that's getting pushed in. Because what I want to do is I literally need to build drywall in there. Now another way, if you had a gap that big, you can get a piece of drywall and, you know, mess with it for a little bit till it gets in there and fix it. But an easy way, just pre-fill it. Now, to get it flush, I'm just riding the drywall, right? I'm at a 0. At this point, I put it in there. There's some overhang. So now I'm gonna be at a 0. My handle is all the way that it can be towards the drywall. It's touching the drywall almost. My corner is at the top of here, and I'm just gonna drag it right across. That's a 0, right? Okay, this one, same thing. I have a big gap here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first fill it by just pushing it in. I'm pushing it in, right? Push it in, push it in. Push it in, okay? Now listen to this, hopefully you can hear it. A lot of these screws are out, okay? So there's a reference they say it sounds like a train track. Clink, 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 right? Like a train track. And it means all these screws are out. So you're gonna want to take your screwdriver. Take your screwdriver, your Phillips head, and you're just gonna push them in a little bit. Because what will happen is when you go to put your tape, you're gonna have all these little ridges because it's the head of that nail that's showing through. So you're gonna have all these little ripples in your drywall or in your tape. So we're just gonna push it back, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-fill all the rest of these. Okay, and then I'll see you guys after I got all the pre-fill done.